Have you ever wondered, where is God when suffering strikes? This question often arises in the face of life's most challenging moments, creating a paradox that juxtaposes the omnipotent, all-loving nature of God with the undeniable existence of suffering in our world. It is a conundrum that has sparked countless debates and philosophical inquiries throughout the ages. However, the answer may be closer than we think, nestled within the sacred lines of Scripture. Psalm 91, a treasured passage in the Bible, provides a compelling response to this profound question. This psalm doesn't shy away from the harsh realities of life. Instead, it illuminates the unwavering presence of God amidst our trials and tribulations. It reassures us of God's enduring love and his fervent desire for our well-being. Psalm 91 offers a profound perspective on God's role during our times of suffering. It invites us to make God our refuge, promising that in doing so we will never be abandoned. Psalm 91 starts with a powerful declaration: "Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty." This opening verse is more than just beautifully composed poetry. It's a profound assertion of faith, a bold proclamation of trust in the divine. To dwell in the shelter of the Most High is to take up residence in the protective embrace of God. It's not a temporary visit or a fleeting encounter, but a fixed abode. It's a conscious decision to make God's presence our home, our sanctuary. This dwelling is not about a physical space, but an internal state of being, where we are perpetually enveloped in God's love and protection. Resting in the shadow of the Almighty signifies the tranquility that comes from abiding under God's protection. A shadow, as we know, offers coolness and respite from the harshness of the sun. It's a place of comfort and relief. Similarly, resting in God's shadow implies finding comfort in God's presence, regardless of the trials and tribulations we face. The second verse of Psalm 91 continues the theme of trust and refuge. "I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in whom I trust." This is not a passive statement, but an active declaration of faith. It's a confident affirmation that God is our place of refuge, our fortress of safety. It's about recognizing God as our ultimate protector, our shield against all adversities. Trust is an integral part of this verse. It's about believing in God's goodness, His power, His love, and His ability to protect us. Trusting God means relying on Him, not just in times of distress, but at all times. It's about surrendering our fears, our anxieties, our uncertainties to Him, and believing that He will guide us and protect us. These verses invite us to seek refuge in God, trusting Him amidst all our trials. They remind us that no matter what we face, we can find peace and safety in the loving embrace of the Almighty. The psalm continues to describe God as a protector who saves us from deadly diseases and terrors of the night. In these verses, the fowler's snare and the deadly pestilence are mentioned. These are not just literal dangers, but they are also metaphors for the unseen threats that could harm us. The fowler's snare represents the hidden traps in life, the unanticipated challenges that might catch us off guard. On the other hand, the deadly pestilence is a symbol for illnesses or diseases that can strike without warning. The psalmist assures us that despite these threats, we are safe under the shelter of the Most High. He is our refuge and fortress, our God in whom we trust. It's this trust that shields us from the fowler's snare and the deadly pestilence. Moving to verses 7 and 8, there's an image of a battlefield. Thousands may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. This is a powerful reassurance that even in the midst of chaos, danger, and devastating circumstances, we are protected. We are not immune to seeing the challenges and tribulations of life, but they do not have the power to destroy us when we are under God's protection. These verses do not promise a life free from trouble. They do not suggest that those who trust in God will never experience hardships or suffering. On the contrary, they acknowledge the reality of these difficulties. But what they do promise is God's protection amidst these trials. They assure us that even when we are surrounded by dangers, we will remain unscathed because of God's protection. These verses assure us of God's protection, even in the midst of chaos and danger. They remind us that we can trust in God's power and love, even when we are facing the most difficult circumstances. They encourage us to find refuge in God, to lean on Him for strength, and to trust in His protection. This is the message of Psalm 91 verses 3 to 8. The final verses of Psalm 91 hold promises of God's deliverance and honor. These closing lines of this revered psalm beautifully encapsulate the idea of God as a refuge, a sanctuary, a protector. It's a potent reminder that when we make the Lord our dwelling place, we are enveloped in a divine shield, a shield that promises to keep harm and disaster at bay. Now, when we talk about dwelling place, it's not about a physical location, it's about a state of being, a state of mind and heart. It's about making God the center of our lives, our actions, our thoughts, and our decisions. It's about living in a way that reflects God's love, His grace, and His mercy. When we do this, when we make God our dwelling place, we are given a promise. The psalm says, "No harm will overtake you, no disaster will come near your tent." This is a promise of protection, a divine assurance that no matter what happens, God is there, watching over us, guarding us, and keeping us safe. But let's delve a little deeper into this. No harm will overtake you doesn't mean we won't face challenges or hardships. Life is full of them. What it does mean is that these challenges will not consume us, will not defeat us. Because God is with us, we have the strength to overcome, to endure, to rise above. No disaster will come near your tent. A tent is a temporary home, a transient place. This could be interpreted as our life here on earth. This promise tells us that no disaster, no calamity will destroy our eternal home with God. Our earthly lives may be filled with trials and tribulations, but our spiritual lives, our eternal lives, those are secure in God. These verses assure us of God's unending commitment to our safety and well-being. And in this assurance we find comfort, we find strength, and most importantly, we find hope. So let us make the Lord our dwelling place and bask in the promises of His protection and love. Psalm 91 in its entirety is a powerful testament to God's unwavering love and protection. It paints a vivid picture of God as our refuge, protector, and deliverer. Let's delve into these themes a little deeper. Firstly, God as a refuge. This theme resonates throughout the psalm, calling us to find solace and comfort in God's embrace. When the world seems overwhelming, when the trials of life weigh heavily upon us, we are beckoned to seek refuge in Him. The psalm reassures us that He is our shelter, our safe place, our sanctuary in times of strife. Secondly, God as a protector. The psalm vividly illustrates God's protective nature. It speaks of His shield, His fortress, His wings under which we find safety. It tells us that even amidst danger and fear, we are under His watchful care. He defends us against the perils of life and grants us courage to face our challenges. Lastly, God as a deliverer. This psalm reassures us that God is not just a passive observer. He is actively involved in our lives, delivering us from harm and leading us towards prosperity. He rescues us from the snares of life, lifts us from pits of despair, and guides us towards a path of peace and fulfillment. These themes give us a profound understanding of God's character and His response to human suffering. They remind us that God is not distant or indifferent to our pain. Instead, He is intimately involved, caring for us, protecting us, and delivering us from our struggles. In the face of suffering, Psalm 91 assures us of a God who is always for us, with us, and working towards our best. It refutes the notion that our hardships are a result of His indifference or desire to see us hurt. It affirms that He is for us, with us, and striving for our best. It compels us to trust Him, to find refuge in Him, and to rely on Him as our protector and deliverer. In the face of suffering, Psalm 91 assures us of a God who is always for us, with us, and working towards our best. So what does Psalm 91 tell us about God and suffering? It offers us an intimate portrait of a God who is ever present, even amidst our trials and tribulations. This divine presence is not a distant, indifferent one, but a compassionate, protective force that shields us from harm. It underscores God's unwavering commitment to our well-being, reminding us that He doesn't wish for His children to suffer, nor is He content to see us in despair. Instead, He works tirelessly to turn even our darkest moments into opportunities for growth, resilience, and ultimately, our good. Psalm 91 also dismantles the cynical notion that we're alone in this world, left to fend for ourselves against the harsh realities of life. It assures us that we can rely on God, that His power fuels His determination to be with us always. While suffering remains a mystery, Psalm 91 assures us that God is not indifferent to our trials but is actively working for our good. This is something we can hold on to, even in the darkest of times. Before we conclude this enlightening journey through Psalm 91, we would like to remind you that this channel is committed to bringing you more insightful content like this. If you found value in this video, please consider subscribing to our channel. Your support enables us to create more videos that delve into the depth of scriptures, providing comfort and guidance in times of need. So, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join us in our journey of faith, exploration, and understanding. And remember, the essence of Psalm 91 remains with us. God is our refuge, our fortress, and our constant companion in times of suffering. Thank you for watching, and until next time, may you find solace and strength in His words.